I am excited to be announcing right here that I will be doing a new series of videos on every Rockstar game that I have played, and those games are Grand Theft Auto 3, Grand Theft Auto Vice City,
Grand Theft Auto 3, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, Grand Theft Auto 3, Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
Okay, so something happened right after my last video. I was trying to set up to record footage for GTA 3 and Vice City, and then I learned the hard way that my PS3 cannot be recorded in the normal manner, which means getting legit footage is out of my means. But fear not, for I realized that essentially the first 3 GTA games on my list were actually more or less experienced in the same way and on a basic level are all kinda just the same game to me. San Andreas being the exception, but this allows me to just cram them all into one video anyway. So without further ado, let me breeze past my experiences with 3 and Vice City and show you how these games helped shape my history with Rockstar Games. Then we'll get on to the big one. Sound good?
Show that trailer footage, Johnny!
Starting with GTA 3, I was a small, bright-eyed boy, still young with my knowledge of video games and the potential that they held within. The first time I saw this game was probably at the same cousin's house who gave me that copy of Crash 2 I mentioned back in my review of the Insane trilogy. Now, I had also dabbled with this game in the past at a cousin's house, and said cousin actually gave me the game for some reason, but hey, who am I to complain? Free game, right? I remember sitting on the bed just watching my cousin play and just being amazed that there was a game in a 3D environment. The same goes for Vice City, and the thing that these games had in common was that I didn't own them. It was always at a cousin's house or a friend's house. I didn't have a PS2, but thankfully the PS3 and PS4 have allowed me to catch up on these games via the PSN. Going back to it, I have such fond memories of just having fun and playing these games. I'm sure some of you share these memories as well. Remember how cool it was to use cheat codes and just spawn a jet or have any weapon you wanted at a moment's notice? This is what I remember GTA 3 and especially Vice City for. But as for the third game on this list... GTA San Andreas. Ooh baby, this was the game. A lot of people love Vice City, and maybe some crazy people love GTA 3 the most, but I swear, cars can't take damage for shit in that game. But GTA San Andreas had the biggest and most varied environments. The map was so huge and represented multiple different cities, and it even had its own take on Las Vegas. So cool! But San Andreas also had a cool story with a guy named CJ.
After 5 years on the East Coast, it was time to go home.
CJ comes back into town and builds himself up, and you really see him progress in the game, moving up in the world and making connections.
Oh my dog, what's up?
He meets such a varied cast of fun and unique characters.
Welcome home, Carl. Glad to be back. You haven't forgotten about us, have you, boy?
Hell no, Officer Tenpenny. I was just wondering what took y'all so long.
The game mechanics were also super cool because the more you used guns, drove cars, rode bikes, and every other action you did raised CJ's stats. It's not exactly the best balance though, because one of the first missions requires you to chase a guy on a motorcycle. And at this point, your motorcycle skill is pretty much nothing. No,
Street light.
Yeah, boy, come on. No, shit. Whoa. Oh my god. But that aside, this game was still so fun, and the dialogue has some really great moments.
And look at you. You dress like a hooker.
Oh, and I guess you two would know what a hooker look like, huh?
You say it like it's a bad thing.
Shut up, Carl.
Overall, the look and feel of the game experience as a whole just feels right, even playing all these years later. The look of the sunsets, the lesser sound quality of the cars passing by, the cheesy dialogue, it all just felt so right at the time, and it still does today.
Hey yo, give me back my rhymes, you thief! I'm gangsta!
My adventures in San Andreas were always so fun with friends, and I have so many memorable moments from back in the day. The feeling of driving through the map anywhere at any given time just fills me with joy, and few games can give the special feeling that San Andreas brings every time I play it. Admittedly, the game doesn't hold up completely. The way you use the controller for shooting and driving is vastly different than games of the modern age. Though if any of you are familiar with this mission, you know that some things are not so forgiving regardless of controls.
Follow that train.
Roll up on him, CJ, so I can get a shot. Look the fuck out, CJ, the train! I could use some backup. All we had to do was follow the damn train, CJ.